Hello everybody, this is Purge, bringing you guys a first-person replay commentary. This is a Windranger game that I played 2 days ago on stream, but I'm going to be doing a replay commentary of it, so I hope you guys enjoy that. Main reason is because my sponsors are now updated, which I'm sure you are getting sick of me saying that. I'm not sponsored by Dota in addition to thesco.re Esports. I'm very happy to have both of these guys. I really like both of the companies, so I'm very happy to have them both on the docket. But this game is a pretty fun game. I did a build that has been turning the strength of Windranger around. It is it's kind of, I'll talk about builds a little bit. It's really fun to watch heroes change in viability in the pro scene simply because of a slightly better skill or item build. It's really fun to watch that. And that's exactly what happened in the case of Windranger. Windranger as a hero has been getting buffed and buffed and buffed. There was a period around TI 2, maybe TI 3 where Windranger was very strong in the off lane, but since then she's received tiny nerfs and reduced viability in the off lane. People don't play her there anymore. In fact, they almost never play her except for in the mid role. And when they did play her in the mid role, people were going for Aghs Scepter with a Maelstrom. And the reason Aghs is better now is because in the past all it did, it used to be one of the worst Aghs in the game. What it did and a long time ago was, all it did was if you had a secondary damage effect when focus firing, it wouldn't reduce that. So the way that Windranger focus fire works normally, if you can't get around the, alright, focus fire, it reduces your damage by, let's say 50% at level 1, right? You see that, you can see the reduction, kind of. I guess my overlays are in the way. I'll just do this for a moment. 50% damage reduction at level 1, right? That means that if you use a Maelstrom, and you Maelstrom proc, the lightning doesn't do 125 magic damage, it does half of that. It does 112, or it does like 62.5 magic damage, or whatever the heck the number is. I think that's right. It doesn't do the full damage, so you can't avoid the focus fire damage reduction. Same thing with Monkey King Bar. If you get a Monkey King Bar with focus fire, the mini bash proc is also reduced by 50% damage. So to combat this, Aghs was introduced to allow those things to do full damage. But you're like, why would I spend 4,000 gold to get an item that allows my Maelstrom procs to do twice as much damage? Like, what the hell is the point, you know? It wasn't worth it. But now Aghs buffs you in a way that's really beneficial. First of all, it lowers your cooldown of your ultimate down to 15 seconds, which is really big. And it also changes the scaling of the damage reduction. It goes from 50, 40, 30 to 30, 15, 0. So at level 16 with an Aghs Scepter, you do full damage as normal. It just increases your attack speed to a maximum rate, which is pretty amazing. It's good at that, and it also, of course, still does the whole makes your secondary items good. So what people started doing was they said, okay, Aghs is better now, let's build Aghs and Maelstrom. That way we could do more DPS to a single target. And that was decent. Over the last year, people had been building that occasionally. We even picked it sometimes in Korea for Zephyr. Usually, I think Season 3, we would pick it, and maybe Slicks would play it once or twice as well for us in Season 4. It was picked sometimes, and in the regular pro scene, it was occasionally picked as well, but didn't see a huge amount of success. But this all changed a couple weeks ago when Slahser, a YouTuber, made his Slahser's Guide to Windranger. And what he said was, why are we getting Maelstrom? There's no reason to get Maelstrom. What we should do is get a Daedalus. And that build is sick. And the reason it's good is because Maelstrom peaks off in a couple ways. First of all, Maelstrom is a less expensive item. Building into a Mjolnir is a bit wasted. You don't really want to do that. Getting the Maelstrom is okay, but getting the Mjolnir is a waste because Mjolnir gives you attack speed, and you don't need attack speed on Windranger. You just need damage because any attack speed is wasted when you use Focus Fire because you're already attacking max attack speed. So already a Maelstrom is a bit of a waste. It has 25 attack speed. You really need a plus damage item that doesn't give attack speed. If you get the other problem with Maelstrom is that while the lightning is jumping from creep to creep to creep, you can't re-Maelstrom proc. So that's one negative aspect about Maelstrom that would make Maelstrom too strong. It would be too strong if you had an Ember Spirit, for example. If you Sleight of Fist 85 units and it can proc 25 lightning at every single unit, then all of a sudden you shoot lightning everywhere and the item would be way too strong. It'd be like an expensive version of a Battle Fury, basically. So as you're focus firing, the Maelstrom procs, if they're still bouncing, you can't re-Maelstrom proc. So it's a nerf to the item if you actually attack too fast. Maelstrom is in some ways a bad item. So what you need to do is a proc that allows you to proc as much as you want and as much as you hit, and preferably only does plus damage and preferably only does physical damage. The other problem with Maelstrom is that once somebody BKBs, if you focus fire them, the Maelstrom procs won't do damage to them. So against a BKB hero, the point of getting the item is kind of removed. And people buy BKBs all the time, and often in the mid game. So by the time you get Maelstrom, people are going to be dealing with BKBs, which is not something you wanna mess around with. So Maelstrom, not the best Windranger item. If you do go with this build, the better item is Daedalus. And that's because it does all physical damage. The item increases your crit chance by 25%, so 25% of you attacking results in you getting crits for a lot of damage, and at level 16, again, it does a full damage. It's just, it stacks really well. And then afterwards, the other issue is that Windranger often needs like 3 items before she becomes pretty survivable. The Aghs is a great item because it gets her HP and survivability that her hero lacks. I think she has really good strength gain. She has really good strength gain, 2.5 strength, but early game it's really low. So supplementing that with a point booster and an Aghs is really good because Aghs gives you like 390 HP. It's pretty good. Gives you 10 int, 10 agility, a little bit of armor, a little bit of damage, a little bit of mana, moderate amount of mana, moderate amount of mana, moderate amount of HP, a little bit of stats, but mostly the Aghs effect. So basically, Aghs is a good item to keep Windranger tanky. Then you grab a damage item so she does good damage. And then the third item they usually need is a Black King bar. And you get a Black King bar because at that point everybody has so many stuns flying around that your HP is good, but you need to be not disabled so you can DPS. And when people would go the Maelstrom build and they get a BKB, it felt like they didn't do enough damage, and it was because they didn't. But the Daedalus build is like a perfect solution to that. And I know we just talked about a build for 20 minutes, but like it was completely worth it because like you guys need to understand why this build is so good, and it's perfect. And maybe not perfect, but I think it's definitely the best thing that Windranger's got right now. So that's that. If you guys do want to watch this clip of me playing live rather than listen to my replay commentary, you can. I'm going to edit the VOD and I'm going to paste it down below in chat. I'm going to link to the Twitch site. I messed up my block here. I'm linking to Twitch, so hopefully you guys can still watch it. I'll upload it to YouTube later, but I forgot to edit the VOD before I started recording this, so by the time you see this video, the YouTube VOD might not be up. So check down in the drop-down box below. You can either watch me play this live or you can watch the replay commentary of me playing right now. Don't go anywhere if that's the case. So I am last hitting versus an Invoker. One of the benefits of Windranger is she has a fantastic animation, good projectile speed. Her animation is very low basically, so you can kind of attack on a dime, whereas an Invoker has a bit more of a wind-up. So I should be able to outlast hit this guy, and I think I did a pretty good job. Going Null Talisman first is pretty normal. And Windranger versus an Invoker is a pretty good matchup actually, I think, because if Invoker does end up going for kills, he's going to have to use Cold Snap, and as soon as he uses Cold Snap, I use Wind Run. That's Windranger's third ability, and it makes you completely evasive for 3 seconds, even on attacks that are mid-air, one of the buffs that she's received recently. So 100% evasion, 50% movement speed bonus for 3 seconds, and if you stand by enemies, it slows them a bit more. Slows them a lot more if you're lower. I shouldn't have come up to the high ground here because his creep wave came, otherwise I would have traded hits with him more. It was a bit of a mistake. But my last hitting's still pretty good here. Did a nice job. I've been getting a little better at solo mid because I've been playing a lot more solo mid the last couple weeks. My last hitting is a little stronger. But this guy was pretty significantly lower than me in MMR, which I just want to tell you guys. That way you don't think that I just had an amazing game. It's more that the MMR balance wasn't extremely fair. And especially this guy was quite a bit lower than me. So keep that in mind. I don't want you guys to think that I'm amazing or something when I'm not. So bottle first is pretty normal. You grab a bottle first because you want a bit of mana. You can control runes pretty easily with this hero because you have power shot. That's another thing that Maelstrom provided you, is a lot better pushing power, but to be honest, you don't really need it that badly because power shot's pretty spammable. It's not the best nuke for clearing waves, but it's a 9-second cooldown. It does up to 360 damage. Most of these power shots, I'm just trying to get last hits while also harassing the Invoker. So that's why some of the times you'll see me shoot them in weird directions. It's me just trying to predict where I think the Invoker is going to be. And then if I can predict that, then we're talking about... messed up that one. But if I can predict where he's going to be, then I get a last hit as well as harassing him. So bottle's flying out now. I almost used another Tango. I missed that last hit. But this is a pretty common skill build. 1-2-1 at level 4 is not weird at all. And then, see, look at that. He actually was last hitting that faster than I was, but with my good animation, you can catch him up. Not catch him up, but what's the word? You can get the last hit before he's able to get a second. You can catch up to him trying to do the double last hit trick. So, now that I have a bottle, I can grab a rune, and with the runes, I can hopefully do some good stuff. Haste runes are one of the best runes at the 2-minute mark, by far. I can definitely pressure my opponent with this, especially because I've got Wind Run as well. With Wind Run, I can also just evade tower hits for 3 seconds, which is extremely useful. I had a power shot catching him. And this kind of gives me an opportunity to go dive him. I was thinking about it here. I used a Tango, and he came pretty far forward. I used Windrun at first to stop the cold snap. Could have shackled him right there. I should have shackled him right there, actually. It was a mistake for me not to shackle. I think that made this gank a little harder than it was on a gank, but I think that made it harder than it needed to be. As soon as he moved close to the trees, I should have just thrown the shackle and guaranteed him being stunned. That way I could land my power shot. If he dodged my power shot, that would have been bad. I would have lost the kill. So I think I did that too sloppy. I still did get a kill there, but that was sloppier than it needed to be. So, but even still, getting a kill in the mid lane is really good. And haste rune allows you to do that. Double damage as well is very, very good. It's one of the cool things about Windranger is that you can actually dive your opponent due to Windrun. And you also have the benefit of a pretty good nuke and a disable that you can use. Now you are supposed to get Focus Fire at level 6 now. In the past, Focus Fire used to cost 200 mana, which is way too much for the low damage it did. But now it costs 75 mana and it does a 50% reduction, which is still, it's a damage increase, but it's not a huge damage increase. So I recommend using it, but maybe not a huge amount. It's still worth getting though. You can push towers with it if once in a while you do actually end up in a 1v1 with an opponent where the Focus Fire becomes very useful. So it's worth getting. I'm using my illusions to check for the Sand King stack, since when there's a Sand King in the game, they usually stack that large camp a lot. And then I went to the other large camp instead to check that out. He did get that denied, nicely done by him, but I did hit him with the power shot. Now he's going an Exhort Invoker, and Exhort Invokers, they don't actually have that much regen, so it's good to actually harass them a lot, which is why I'm focusing on it so much. And with my other illusion, I'm just going to stack the large camp here, because that's something you can do. It's one of the better things to do with illusions, something I don't do very often. But I've been doing a bit more lately, and I think it's really good to do. And at this point, I realize the Sand King doesn't have any stacks yet, so I don't have very much to worry about in terms of the Sand King getting a fast Blink Dagger. He simply is behind in terms of his item build. My CSing is pretty okay here. I've got 26 CS. Not bad. 27 a little bit after 5 minutes. And about a Phase Boots. Now Phase Boots is the item you almost always get in Windranger because, first of all, when you're focus firing, you don't need attack speed like I said before. If you get phased, then you got 24 damage. That's now being dealt at a maximum attack speed. So Phase Boots gives you the most DPS by far with your ultimate. And the other important part is that your hero is very dependent on positioning due to shackles. If you're not in the right position, your shackle is not going to latch and you're probably not going to get a kill. So it's really important to have a little bit of burst movement speed that you can use when you're going for kills or going for shackles. And again, once in a while I will be attacking him. And if he casts Cold Snap, I immediately use Windrun, and that guarantees that I won't be stunned anymore. And this results in a 100 mana for 100 mana trade, which is completely fine for me. I don't worry about this at all. I'm just pushing out the lane now because I'm going to go control the rune. Always nuke the wave and then go contest the rune. See, for example, Invoker here, when he went to go get the bot rune, he got it, but it's also going to result in him getting less experience because he can't push the wave like I can. He has to. Some of his creeps just died under tower and did damage to the tower because he wasn't there. So that's something that he has to deal with here. He's got a haste rune here. I felt a little worried, so I just phased away for a moment. And again, I will continue to power shot the wave because it means that he won't be able to pressure as easily. He's actually hitting me quite a few times here. It hurts, but I'm still getting last hits, and I do get a good hit on him here. I kind of felt like diving at this point. I almost saw a shackle opportunity there, and I did approach towards him, but I wasn't able to get it off. I maybe could have tried with their range creep. You can latch creeps to heroes, you can latch heroes to trees, you can latch heroes to heroes, or heroes to creeps, all that stuff. Basically, heroes, creeps, and trees are all fair game. You can hit all of them. Used a little bit of focus fire in the tower. Didn't really do that much damage. That was a very obvious sunstrike. I saw him move his hands. The thing you gotta look for, I'm just gonna do a large camera just for a second. Wait for Invoker to do this. When he shoots his hands forward, he's like, that's a sunstrike. When you see him do that, that's how you should react. I saw him move his hands. I was like, alright, he's sunstriking me, especially because I'm standing still. Really obvious. And then you get out of the way and dodge it. Easy. Easy peasy. No 300 damage harass. I maybe should have gone back to the lane a little bit faster, but considering we had a Crystal Maiden, I thought it was going to be helpful to kill a Mud Golem. So I just killed a Mud Golem. Mud Golems are actually really good gold games. 62 is huge. And we've got another rune coming up, so I should be able to go for the next rune spot, since it is almost 8 minutes. So I'll wait for the next creep wave since I have JK. I did not. I was going to wait for the next creep wave to nuke, but I actually had two bits of mana, so I could do a double power shot here. I was able to get all. I left the catapult because I should be able to get back in time to get the catapult, and I found a regen, which is great to have. And now I've got 1200 gold, so I can buy a point booster, and my CSing has been pretty good. I think Windranger is one of the few heroes that I can last it really well on. due to our animation being really fantastic. And I wanted to set up a kill here. I've got 2 levels in Shackle. The call didn't work out. Unfortunately, that didn't latch. If it did latch, we would have gotten that kill, I think. But I believe that ends my potential to get a kill here. So now I'm going to ditch the lane. If the Aghs would have saved the call till about when I decided to go in, it would have been okay. And now we're just going to kind of hang out in the jungle. We did spot an Invoker. For some reason, he came top as well. Maybe because I was top, I don't really know. But he should have stayed mid. Invokers in almost all cases should just be sitting mid. And now we're just going to kind of roam around through the jungle. It's slightly scary to do this, but I wanted to check to see if Sand King got stacks. And again, we spot Sand King here. That actually did not catch, unfortunately. I couldn't believe he's stunned like that. I was like, why did he do that? I guess I would have gotten another power shot off. So at some point he just would have gotten away, but or he wouldn't have gotten away, but whatever. It's good to move through the jungle when you know there's gonna be a jungler in here, especially a Sand King. Sand King is not that survivable by himself. He can like escape, but we did a lot of damage to him to start that off, so it kind of put him in a really bad spot. I have to worry slightly about an Invoker comboing on me on the low ground here, but I felt pretty confident this game. Make sure to clean up any denies that you can, and I'm just going to focus fire the tower. I should actually did end up. I was hoping he would stand still a little bit longer. I should have chased him longer before I attempted the shackle. And I ended up catching him. I felt real dirty about that one.
Good shot, right?
Ooh, that was dirty. The random power shot. I've got 50 CS at 10 minutes with a little bit of roaming. Not that my roaming was amazing. Actually, we got the Sand King kill. That was okay. I think my CS is okay considering the amount of activity that I've had. It could be a little bit higher, but it's been okay. So this is good. I had a pretty good early start of the game. Oh yeah, another buff to Windranger. Her power shot range got doubled. Probably part of the reason that Invoker died there. I didn't really know where he was, but I decided to... I was like, might as well throw the power shot. You might get him, you know? I knew he was low anyways. I didn't charge that one quite long enough, and I lost 2 CS there. That was bad. But this is a skill build. Max out Shackle Shot, max out Power Shot. Power Shot first, then Shackle Shot, and then Focus Fire whenever available, and Wind Run. That's the way to play Windranger right now. So luckily, he was protecting a ward from me, or a rune, sorry. I always say rune and ward interchangeably, just because they're often placed in the same spot. But at this point I was like, alright, we're gonna go around the tower, and we're gonna collapse on this Phoenix and hopefully kill him. But the problem was that Chachi was actually just kind of dying. So this just kind of sucked. We're gonna hope to watch the Phoenix come back. Probably should have just power shot it through and gone for the shackle. It's kind of what I wanted to do, but we never had vision of him, unfortunately. I think the Abaddon did this really badly, personally. He was waiting for him to come back around, but what he really needed to do was give me vision so that I could shackle. As soon as the Phoenix went on the trees, the shackle was possible. What I probably should have done was... Let me show you guys. What I think I should have done... Our Abaddon just got sunstriked. When we were approaching this way, I should have power shot it through. Oh yeah, I just... Got that good. That was pretty good. You have to look for the shackles. Like it took me a long time to get better at it, but you have to watch for the shackle possibilities. Like see where the connections are and stuff like that. And I did actually catch one there. Illusion runes are really good on this hero. So your animation's so good and your range is so good. It's obvious which one's the real one, but it still does give me a decent bit of damage increase. What I should have done when I was chasing the Phoenix there is I should have power shotted through and then used Wind Run and Phase to move in. Because if I did get a shackle off, he would have died because he would have been shackled for a long time. So I should have done that. I did end up killing him afterwards, so it wasn't that bad. But I left the illusions over here to hit the tower, and then I should be able to come back and do another focus fire.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
And I lucked out and I got the last stun on the tower. That's one of the really nice things about Focus Fire. You can take towers very rapidly. It's not to be underestimated at all. Saw some action going on top, and I just took bot towers, so I didn't really need to be there anymore. Chachi took mid tower, that was really big. And now I'm going to try to get another kill top. There's a lot of heroes though, so things are a little scary. So I just want to sit behind them because I don't necessarily want to reveal that I'm here. That's one of the most important things when you're ganking is that you don't show your opponents that you're waiting around to kill them. You want to make it secretive. Got my new item, so 10 more damage, 190 more HP, and most importantly I found an invis rune, so this is pretty cool. Especially when your opponents are pushing into you. If you can start off things with an invis rune, you can set off things like a double shackle If you shackle 2 heroes together, it's like ravaging them for 3.5 seconds, 3.75 seconds. That's a huge stun. That's like a double roar. So I use the Invis rune. I'm going to move towards them, try to set up a big shackle, and hopefully things will be good. But it looked like they actually just left the lane. Their team was playing kind of weird. They would like, you're like, oh, I'm sure they're going to push, and then they wouldn't. I remember making a big mistake. Should have shackled the Sand King right there. I was hoping he would just stand there. And at this point, I lost my position. The other error I made there was that the CM kind of revealed things as well by charging up. That was probably the other thing that was a mistake. But I shouldn't have followed him through, probably. I tried to follow him through because I thought he would stop moving, but he didn't stop moving. I should have stayed at the point that allows me to be on the outside of the trees and him. That's what I should have done. So I think I did that badly. So Invis rune is gone now, unfortunately. That was a waste. Could have gotten the Sand King out of that. At this point I realized there were like 8 billion heroes here and I didn't feel comfortable going for it, but my team still went anyways. The whole team was there pretty much. So that dive was honestly way too greedy. It was unrealistic to think we could catch that.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
The fights continued. I'll touch you in it.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
These weird fights. They're weird fights. I think they're really weird fights. Oh, a troll ended up dying to that? Wow, that's painful. Just got my eggs TPing back to lane. I thought this is a perfect TP here because they're likely not... Well, it actually kind of sucked. I was hoping I could catch one there. They actually all retreated. I thought they might chase and then I would be in the perfect place, but they backed up just in time. But either way, I still did get my eggs here. We can continue pushing as well. They do still have their tier 1 tower, so taking that would be really good for us. And now my ultimate does 15% reduction instead of 40%. This is a pretty big buff. So 25% of my damage is something like...
Dire's top tower is under attack.
I couldn't believe he TP'd in there. And just using my focus fire like that's honestly not that bad. It's 100 mana. This is such a weird game. Everybody's just standing around. That guy is so dead. It's a kill. That Deafening Blast was so big. Barely caught everybody. I do decent damage, but it's not that amazing, unfortunately.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And that's the end of my engagement, so I did as much as I could there, but I mean, even by having an eggs, your damage is still not very high, because you spend 4,000 gold on a mostly tank item. Your focus fire is still really mediocre. It's okay versus squishy heroes, but against a guy that is a Vanguard, I believe. Yeah, Spectre has a Vanguard here. I knew there might be another Sunstrike, but he ended up missing. So now we start buying damage items because I'm going to be building towards towards Daedalus. First item to get is a Crystallis. You definitely, I would say it's better to go for the crit item before just to go for the Demon Edge. I have a feeling it's more damage. Look at that range, it's so big. Really big advantage that Windranger has. Do have vision on Lion here. Don't necessarily want to walk up because I don't want him to think I'm here. See, and against a squishy hero, it's definitely possible to get kills like that. That one was pretty good. What I did was, the important thing that I did there is I didn't let Lion know I was there, so I gave him less reaction time to react to the fact that I was going to attempt to shackle. So what I did is I stood slightly far back, and as I approached, I used Windrun to run super fast, and I used Phase as well. I think you're already capped on movement speed just by using Windrun, but I ended up using, it gives you 150, which puts you at just under 500. So using both gives me about 500 It gives me max movement speed. So I went max movement speed, I shackled on the range creep, and I latched to him and I focus fire. It's like, it's very small nuanced things to make Windranger good. And now I just stood here because I wanted to wait until we had shackle opportunities. But they all kind of backed off at this point. I wanted them to stay over here close to the trees if possible, because then like right now would have been good. Unfortunately, he got a little bit too far away from the buildings. I got really messed up there. If we go on the Phoenix and the Phoenix doesn't die, it's really bad news for us, basically. You're gonna have a bad time. So that was a really big fight loss. Pretty good CM ulti. Got one hero. I think Aghs is still.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's top tower.
This is the point on stream where I was talking about the positioning. I thought that my allies came up a little too far, but watching it now, I'm not so sure. It was just kind of a bad initiation. We needed somebody to initiate a stun, and then I could follow up, but all we have is Aghs, basically. It has to be Aghs. Otherwise, Phoenix can always dive. So it was kind of an unfortunate fight. Didn't really work out so well. I got killed. Again, we focus fired the Phoenix. My shackle missed, and we weren't able to get the kill. Not too unexpected. So again, if you're not doing anything, stack a jungle. IP all tabbed. I told CM that he could farm that stuff. CM ended up going for a Midas this game. Don't really recommend that, but it's an option. Everybody's last hits are quite low in this game. They should be higher on all the carries. Both Troll as well as Spectre should be a bit better. Wow, Invoker has the worst last hits. He's got 27. Messed that up a little bit. I ended up power shotting instead of pressing focus fire, so my power shot did like no damage. Whatever, we got a kill. So a little bit of ward stuff helps. If he would have been a little faster, he could have stopped that from catching. That egg was really presumptuous. My damage is actually quite high here, despite not having focus fire. Basically attempting to see if I can shackle him there. Oh, this is so bad. I was so upset about that. I was like, how could Chachi not have his item ready? But what happened was he tried to drop a branch and he must have cancelled his animation. So he didn't actually drop the branch and he couldn't pick up the Aegis. So despite us getting Rosh, he died and gave Ganking an Aegis. That was really depressing. I was overly upset about that one. I was just like, oh, I couldn't believe Chachi made that mistake. I thought he just didn't drop the item, but in reality he tried to drop it and it just didn't work. So I think that's fine. Like as long as you remember to drop an item first and it just didn't go through, that's excusable. It's an excusable error. For some reason I just assumed that he didn't drop an item in preparation. So my attack speed's actually pretty good here without focus fire. And it's due to the extra agility that you're getting out of Aghs. You're getting a lot. 10% attack speed isn't massive, but it's something that you don't expect to have in most cases. So it pays off. I'm going to TP back here because my mana's low and my HP's low and I don't want to use the Invis rune here. It's better to save the Invis rune to go for ganks. It's really important that you do that most of the cases with big runes like DDs. The Spectre hasn't died yet here. He's 4-0 and 10, so that's definitely the hero to go for. And I'm going to move across the map and I'm going to use an Invis and I'm going to try to get a kill. Is what I would like to do. Got to defend mid first. Should have power shot at that. But I guess the CM got it. Anyways, got my Crystallis. Gives you 35 damage, I think. 30 damage at a 20% chance to get a 75% damage increase on your hit. So if we do the math on that, I already used my... Oh, they actually saw me there. I didn't think about that. Oh, that's how they saw me. I didn't even think about that. We dropped Sentry. I saw that there was a Sentry ward there. And I didn't think that they could see me for some reason. But luckily I stayed far enough away from them that when they popped the dust here, they didn't catch me. So luckily I was playing safe. But with that dust gone, I felt pretty comfortable to eventually move out. This was really dangerous. If I ran into 5 heroes, I was just going to die. So I had to like watch their reactions here. Definitely a hero that I want to kill if possible. Look at that damage increase. Isn't it way higher than it used to be? And I wanted to power shot this because I want to make sure that he doesn't get to blink right upon respawning. It'll delay his interaction or his ability to initiate. And another focus fire. So we were really able to, we really wrecked that fight. I was able to see the Phoenix, but I figured that I wasn't going to be able to catch up to him. So that was perfect fight from us, I think. I was able to stop the Ganking from starting while the fight started, so no ultimate there. I don't know what the Phoenix was doing. Maybe he was more scared about dying last fight. I'm looking for a shackle here, but he's going to back up. I got the last down the tower. That was pretty cool. But most importantly, killed the Ganking, stopped his blink initiation immediately upon his respawn with a power shot, and then I was able to shackle him again later, which caught him to the Phoenix, I think is what happened. It was like him and the Phoenix caught together. I didn't even notice that this time either. Alright, and I'm level 16, so I have a 0% scepter reduction. So now I'm hitting for 163 damage on average, every single hit, no matter what, which is a lot of DPS at this level. I'm sure Troll has pretty comparable damage without... Yeah, look at Troll. Troll's not that underfarmed here. He's got decent net worth. That's a good try. He's got... Oh, wait, whoa. Alright, we have some stuff going on mid. I'm just gonna show you guys this. I think the CM was being pressured by the... Start things off with a focus fire. He knew that he couldn't run to the right, because if he did, he would have gotten shackled. So he got pretty screwed there. Oh, I should have shackled this range creep. I would have gotten him. If I would have shackled the range creep, I would have gotten him there. I didn't expect him to move, but I should have waited. Because the angle that I shackled him at, he wasn't going to get caught 100%. That was pretty bad. Just gonna try to catch up to the Invoker here. Praying to Jeebus for a shackle that wasn't gonna latch. And that's okay. Pressuring bottom at the same time is fine, I think. Just hitting a creep wave like that so that the bottom pushes in addition, it's just a little bit better way to make space. There's two dead heroes, so them continuing that, or them defending that was not going to happen. So, and I pick up the Demon Edge now, and I'm hitting for about 200. My net worth's not that high. I mean, in the scope of the game, it's pretty high, but if you think about how much items I have basically 2 items. I have, what, 1,200 net worth about, and I'm going to have a Daedalus and an Aghs, which pretty much allows me to solo kill anybody with the exception of a PA. Now, if you're against a PA, like a Phantom Assassin or a hero that has evasion really early, mainly a PA, I guess. Maybe a Troll is another good example. If you're against a Troll, it might be better to opt for a MKB instead of a Daedalus. The Daedalus does way more physical damage, but MKB does give you True Strike, and you can also profit from those with your Aghs from the mini bashes. The mini bashes actually do add up. They do 100 magic damage a hit, and it's like a 33% mini stun or something. I don't know exactly what it is, actually. I'm gonna check. Oh god, go. Upgrades. 35%. So that's pretty good. It's like a special, it's like an upgraded version of a Maelstrom, basically. This does 120 damage. This does 100 damage. And it's 35% versus 25. So it's kind of like, it's like a lightning, it's like a single target lightning in a lot of ways. And it also gives you 88 damage, which makes your right click damage a lot better. So I think that's pretty good. Close this out, and we'll go back to their perspective. So I'm playing really aggressive here because I know I can. I'm just trying to keep space between us and their tower. I'll even throw it. This was like the most... I actually did get lucky in the shackle there, but... I don't know if focus firing that guy would have worked, but... Tower damage is pretty incredible at this point. And I felt pretty comfortable to continue pushing this. Just have to get more shackles. Dodge the deafening blast.
Dire's top barracks has fallen. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top barracks has fallen.
So I told everybody to run away here,
Radiant's middle tower
and I tried to save them.
attack. Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
They should have ran earlier than this. They mirrored me a little bit too much here, I think. They needed to back faster. And then I decided to fight. This is a mistake, I think. Well, actually, if I just would have right-clicked the whole time, I would have gotten him. It was a mix of stuff. I kept staying to try to save them, and they kept staying to try to save me. Also, when I got hexed by the lion, I immediately got shielded by the Abaddon, which is a great play by Abaddon. But I didn't expect it, so I stopped attacking. And if I just would have right-clicked the Spectre, I would have hit him for an extra like 2 seconds there. And I would have been able to probably just kill him before he got away. So that was another mistake by me. I should have anticipated playing around the Abaddon more. I should expect stuns to do less to me. Pretty much. So, I ended up dying. I didn't get anything out of it. I'm sure they got a lot of gold from that kill, actually. It was probably big. Oh well.
Gold for my armor.
It's not good to think about what I did for another 20 seconds. It's really fun. But my items are pretty strong right now. People were complaining at this point in chat a lot about Blink Dagger, like, oh, you should have gotten a Blink Dagger. But I think Daedalus is really important. And if you guys just look how much my damage changed between going from Aghs to a what's the word? Crystallis. It was huge, a huge increase, and you'll see it as well now that my Daedalus is finished. My damage is really high. Obviously, it'd be nice to have a Maelstrom for moments like this when I'm just trying to kill a big peak wave or something. But
Invisibility.
and I'm critting for 520 here. It's not something you really see from a Windranger that much to hit for that hard, but it really pays off. If you guys want to better understand DPS, by the way, the way that it essentially works is you want to get a... Well, we see a bunch of heroes here. I'll talk about it in a second. I told them to bait me. Awfully close to them. Killed that guy really fast. Just wanted the mini stun on him, and I knew that wouldn't end up catching anything. I didn't realize that was a CM. I should have been watching, but I felt like he was safe. And he was actually safe, but look at the damage output there. It was huge. And I have 1800 HP. The Aghs really increases your longevity. So much HP in the early game. Your strength aim kicks in the late game, and you buy damage items, and all of a sudden I'm hitting like a truck. But a Blink Dagger at this point is really good. The game is essentially over because we did snowball some of these fights so hard. Obviously, the Troll Warlord is a great counter to Phoenix. All that attack speed lets you kill his egg really rapidly. That's cool. This Abaddon's actually pretty solid. Just in case I didn't kill him there. Oh no. I seem dead. But I got my Blink Dagger. But the Rax is done anyways, so... The build is so strong though. It's such a good build. If you guys do play mid Windranger, I think this is the way to go. I think the mentality over the Maelstrom just got kept over because of the way that the buffs to Aghs came. At first, the Aghs is only good because of your jump from your secondary items. So people said, okay, the only thing we can use is Maelstrom or MKB. Those are only two options, or Mjolnir, of course. And now that it reduces your base damage as well, it just puts you in a really good spot. You don't need to have a special proc item for the Aghs to pay off. And then now people are realizing, oh, there's actually a lot of other items we can build instead of a Maelstrom here. I think MKB or Daedalus are the main two. I don't think there's really anything else in the shop that's particularly fancy. That'll give you a lot of damage. Daedalus Rapier is obviously fantastic. If you really want to go stupidly all in, you could actually just go Aghs Rapier. That would be godly. I think that would be really good as well. You could just get a Divine Rapier. You know, Basher, Abyssal Blade might not even be too terrible. I'm going to be completely honest. Abyssal Blade's not terrible. It's probably better to go Monkey King Bar, for sure. Because it's safer. But it's only about, what, 1,300 more? I mean, you have to remember, you're attacking so fast that you get... It's a 10% chance to bash because you're ranged, right? But it's 10% and you attack really fast. That's a 1.4 second stun. It's not terrible, and it gives you 100 damage, which means you're going to hit really hard anyways. I misclicked my focus fire on a creep here, so I couldn't get a kill. I messed that up. But Abyssal Blade's probably not terrible. You don't get to use active stun unless you have a blink, but if you do, you can use it. You could stun people for a really long time. Abyssal Blade, basically this row is the items you kind of want as a Windranger with Aghs. Abyssal Blade, Divine Rapier, Daedalus, Monkey King Bar. That's pretty much it. You can get Shadow Blade, that's decent, but that's the big damage items. I got a Helm of the Dominator here because I was against the Spectre. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if it matters that much. The game is over. Just slipped it back into player perspective, but yeah, just buy damage items on the hero after Aghs. You can get a Rapier. Honestly, if you get a Rapier with an Aghs, you're gonna like 3-shot people. It's gonna be ridiculous. You can pretty much 1-shot somebody guaranteed. It's a little scary because if you die, you're dead. But if you go like Rapier into BKB, your hero's probably fine, as long as they don't have like a Bat Rider or something that can go through BKB preferably. So it's all options. Just get the damage item with the Aghs, and that's how you play Windranger now. I genuinely believe this is the build. This is how you play the hero. Slahser figured it out, and now we're going to see more Windranger as a result. So thanks for watching today. Happy April Fool's Day. I hope. I think I'm going to make a Cities game after this. I'm going to upload it before this video because I think that would be funnier. I've never done an April Fool's video before, but when I played the game, I was like, yeah, I could see myself making videos about this game. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I played Cities a lot last week. I played like 20 hours and then I started getting bored with the game, so I haven't played it since. But for that first 20 hours, I had a really fun time. So I hope you guys enjoyed that game. And that's Windranger. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you later. Bye.